quick disclaimer here. Yes, I do know this is probably uploading after reset. I only have 24 hours to do this, and it took a lot of time to test out each build. I wanted to make sure I got it right for you all. So if you want to see more of these lost sectors, if you want to see all of them, let me know, and I am more than happy to make guides for you. But yeah, let's get into the video. So I've been seeing a lot of people have difficulty with lost sectors, whether it be legend or master difficulty. It seems to be kind of a wall, and so I wanted to make this video showing you a master solo flawless, obviously solo, but if you are just looking to get exotic armor, don't farm master. It's not worth it. It's way too hard. It's going to take you a lot longer, as you can see by the length of this video. Do legend. It's much easier, and you'll get it done a lot quicker, but I wanted to just show you how a master would work in kind of a safe way. I mean, realistically, you have to put yourself in dangerous situations within these lost sectors. So starting off, we're going to do Warlock. We're going to hit all three classes today. And in this starting area, I like to just toss a grenade right at this champion here to stun him. And if you copy my build as best as you can, that will stun him. So it is very helpful. And by the way, we're doing kind of a live commentary here today. I'm going to try and do more of a commentary while I'm doing the lost sector next time. So we'll see if that works. But if you like this video, if you like the style, if this is helpful, please let me know. I'll hit every lost sector, master flawless, or do the legend guides, whatever you guys want, just let me know. And I'll probably go quiet at some points because it's just not really worth it. But in this spot, we've got two champions, Overload and an Overload and a barrier. We're going to want to kill that Overload immediately, because if we don't, he's going to go down and the barrier champion is going to be able to block him. Not what we want. This next section here, you get to see a worst case scenario. This Overload champion loves to retreat back into that corner, which is very annoying. But on Warlock, you can kind of get away with it. I'll show you why here in a second. But if he retreats back on any other class, I usually just start over, because a couple barrier champions will come out here, and it's going to make it extremely annoying because they're going to shield him. But here I was able to super that champion, and he went down just fine. Now, immediately after you kill some enemies, this barrier servitor is going to spawn in. He does make things really annoying, and what I should be doing here is taking out the snipers as I stun him, because he's not going to be able to shield any enemies while he's stunned. So you should take out those snipers because they are incredibly annoying. But again, on Warlock, you can use a healing rift to kind of counter those sniper shots. But I'm kind of like peeking and going back. Probably taking a little bit longer than I should, but either way, we were able to get him down, and now we can take out all the snipers. So we have a few waves here. Kind of once most of the enemies are cleared out, more will spawn in. In total, in this section, we've got that one Overload champion, which hopefully you can kill right away. And then we've got one barrier that comes out with a bunch of enemies, and then another barrier champion that's going to come out. And so you can stick back here pretty easily. This wall is kind of safe. Keep in mind, though, that fire can come from your left side. So if you want to, you can actually retreat all the way back up to that ledge that we were at right at the beginning of the encounter. So super easy to hang back there. You can't obviously hit the enemies that are locked away behind the walls on the left side, but it's really not that bad here. And I should obviously mention, while I'm just sitting here shooting enemies, is Wish Ender is amazing. It's pretty necessary for a lot of content in the game. If you don't have a Wish Ender, you probably shouldn't be trying a lot of really high-end content. Wish Ender, it's just because it's so easy to get. So you can get it in 20 to 30 minutes. You join my Discord, I mention it like every video, but really you can. As long as you own the Forsaken pack, you can hop in my Discord, we can get Wish Ender for you super quickly. There's always people running it. So what we're able to do with it is easily sit back really far, totally safe, and take out barrier champions. It hits really hard, and you just get a free barrier weapon without even needing any perks. So very helpful. In this next section, we've got a couple invisible martyrs there, and then there are two overloads here. Best case scenario, they kind of stick in this room, but one of them is always going to retreat back. As you can see here, I'm trying to take out the one that retreats because he can be kind of annoying later. Not horrible, but if we can take him out now, we might as well. This one will usually always stay in this room. I don't think I've ever seen him leave, and so you can kind of as long as he's stunned, he's obviously fine just chilling there. But yeah, we got both the overloads, so this is a very good scenario here. In this next room, we're going to have 3 enemies come out from the right room right here. Take them out real quick. And I am using forbearance here. This is the grenade launcher from Vow of the Disciple. One of my favorite weapons in the game. It's amazing. If you don't have it, it's fine. This is not a necessary weapon to have in here. It just makes ad clearing a little bit easier. But in one of my runs with Hunter, I was not using this weapon. Anyway, we do have another overload here. And I love to take out this guy right here. If you don't, he's going to go under the stairs and just hide and be very annoying. And there's actually a second overload in here. And if both of them are alive, it makes this area horrible. So you definitely want to take that one out. And here in the whole room, we just have one overload champion as our only champion. Bunch of ads though. So I like to kind of go around, clear out the ads first, so they're not just shooting at me from far away. The champion just teleports this. Oh, I hate overload champions so much. They're so annoying. But yeah, eventually the shank will spawn out with some snipers, and I should be hanging back here. The nice part about this room is you can literally stick back in the other room and kind of peek out. So you can really take it as long as you want here in this area. For the most part, sometimes you've got to take out champions because obviously we're going for that platinum. But I kind of saved the overload champion for last year. Going to stun him with a grenade and take him out. And this should lead us to the boss. Cool, so the room turns red. I'm going to hang right here. I tried going up closer, but I died last time, so I'm just going to super him right here and take out some of the enemies. And he's also going to be jolted, so he'll take some extra damage from Wish Ender, which we will be using for most of the damage here. And every about 25% of his HP, he's going to rotate around counterclockwise with more enemies. So we've got him to that 20% mark right away. And we are kind of shooting him. He's jolted. And as long as this boss is jolted, he's going to be doing AoE damage every time we hit him to the surrounding enemies, which makes it very easy to take out all those sniper shanks and annoying enemies nearby him. But yeah, we got him rotated again. We're going to have a total of 2 barrier champions that will spawn out throughout this fight. And so they can be kind of annoying. As you can see right here, he's hiding under the stairway. But really the strategy here is we want to stay on the opposite side of him the entire time. Or if you're really worried that you're going to die, you can always just hang back in that room that got us here. So you can do that, but again, you're not really going to be able to hit the barrier servitors. That's kind of just an emergency area that you can retreat to. One strategy that I wasn't really doing here is if you take out the barrier's shield, so you remove his shield, you stun him, what you should be doing is taking out the surrounding enemies instead of trying to do damage to him. Because every time he puts his shield back up, you're going to have to deal with him shielding all the other enemies, which can be pretty annoying. This area is a little bit dangerous, but as long as you can hang back behind this cover, that's fine. Kind of with that grenade there, kind of a bummer, but we did take out some people. And I do have that perk on right now, that artifact perk, that when enemies take increased or successive precision shots, they'll be weakened, which is really nice. It's a great artifact perk. So that's why you see they're weakened all the time. Rapid Fire Ranger, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, it's very good. Got lucky with another heavy drop here. We used just enough machine gun ammo to take out all the overloads. Thankfully, we don't have any more of those left, but it can be nice for damage and ad clear here. But these rifts with the Arc Souls are great. With Vesper of Radius, it can just be awesome for ad clear. Arc Warlock is amazing, and I have not used it enough, unfortunately. But yeah, we went ahead and supered here. I did not take him out. I thought I took him out here, but I guess I didn't. So again, you can just come back to this room, chill out, heal up, and we do have another barrier champion. I forgot about that. So always be on the opposite side of the boss, and you should be fine. Now this last wave of enemies, we will have one more wave that is very lethal. we're going to have a lot of exploder shanks that spawn in. And I believe it's when we kill this barrier champion that we'll get that wave to spawn in. But yeah, pull out the machine gun at that point, and you'll see here we're just going to kind of explode them immediately. Playing it pretty dangerously here. Again, you should be just taking out the surrounding enemies instead of focusing on the barrier while the barrier is stunned. That way you won't have to deal with that fire. But yeah, pull out the machine gun here. Pop all these shanks. Very easy. And then you'll see here in a second, I actually avoided danger. I should have died right here. I was like, oh crap. They will one-shot you because solar threat is on. I have double solar resist. And still, they are very dangerous. But yeah, that is it. With this one, we got the Swarmers, and we will move on to Titan. For Titan here, we're using the point contact cannon brace. Very straightforward build. I don't really take advantage of it that much, but we keep the weapons the exact same as we had on Warlock. Forbearance, not necessary. Circular logic, not necessary. They're just good for this because they work with the surges. Forbearance obviously will take out a ton of enemies. But yeah, let's get into Titan here. Wishender is the one that I would say, if you're doing Master, if you're going for the solo flawless, safe, relatively safe, you want Wishender because it's very good. So I'm going to toss a grenade here immediately to jolt and stun this Overload champion, take him out with a machine gun. Super easy. And we want to take out that Overload champion very quickly because this barrier champion, once he spawns in, the Overload is going to retreat to where that barrier champion is, and the barrier is going to shield him, which makes it very annoying. Thankfully, this is at the very beginning, so if you do get caught in that situation, just keep retrying until you can kill that Overload before the barrier spawns in. It's not that difficult. You can definitely do it with enough practice. So yeah, just take out this barrier champion here, and then this shield door will open once we kill all the enemies. And then we have two enemies on the left. Quick forbearance, easy, and then these guys, you can just kind of line them up. Forbearance has to be one of the most satisfying weapons in the game. But anyway, this Overload champion is probably my least favorite champion of the whole Lost Sector. He retreats immediately. So if you don't stun him right away and keep him stunned, then he is going to go all the way to the back of the room where he'll eventually get shielded by barrier champions, which makes him incredibly annoying to kill. We got lucky. I would say if you don't kill him right there, you might just want to restart. You'll see what I mean if you get to that point. It gets pretty out of hand, and it just takes way longer. And so, yeah, I took him out there. And for Titan, I like to just kind of hang back here. And I'm speeding this up because it's just boring Wishender shots against this barrier servitor. What I should be doing here is taking out the snipers that are looking at me from the left side once this barrier is stunned. I'm not doing that. I don't know why, but I ended up being safe. But once we take out the barrier, we're going to get more enemies that spawn in. The most important ones to take out are the snipers because they obviously do the most damage. But just kind of picking everything off here, we'll have one more barrier that spawns in. So in total, we've got that Overload at the beginning, and then two barriers that spawn in. So a strategy here should be to take out as many people as you can, and then once you stun the champion, again, should be killing those snipers. There we go. I kind of got one. Barrier got unlucky, and he went behind the wall. So I'm just going to slowly push up here. There's no reason to get crazy. There will be people on the left, so make sure to take them out. And from here, it's pretty safe. I think we just have the barrier left. Nice and easy. So moving into the next room here, we've got two Overload champions. And if you can take them both out at the same time, it's going to save you a little bit of time. You'll have one other opportunity to get one of them a little bit later. But yeah, you'll see this Overload here, he always sticks in this room. He's not really going to move. I did get unlucky. One of the Overloads started retreating. If you take too long to kill the other Overload, he's going to go all the way into the next room. And we don't want to deal with that. So he's still there. We're good. I should have shot that slow field, but It's alright. Overload is chilling, thankfully. And once I stun him, we should be good to take him out. Had kind of a funny glitch happen here. I was mid-punch animation, but he didn't want to show the animation. And there we go. Overload is taken out. There are 3 enemies that spawn in from the right, but the jolt actually killed them. So, easy. They're just regular vandals. They're not too dangerous, but it is something to keep in mind. We're going to have another Overload champion outside this door. I like going out to the right side here, along with a bunch of other enemies. Make sure you reload your machine gun. And I whiffed another grenade there, but I did get the stun at least, so I'm going to go around and take him out, but of course we've got other enemies to deal with. Now, if we don't take out this Overload around right here, he's going to retreat to where there is yet another Overload, and if you have 2 Overloads that you're dealing with, sometimes they can group up and be very annoying to kill. I kind of panicked here. This was probably not the best decision, but I am running very low on machine gun ammo, so hopefully your heavy drops are a little bit more lucky than mine, because I am dangerously low to take out another one. So if that does happen, if you are completely out of heavy ammo, you can obviously throw your grenade to stun that Overload champion, and then super if you want, but hopefully you've got enough machine gun ammo to deal with it. But yeah, I'm taking out the surrounding enemies first, because you don't want to focus on the Overload champion while a million other enemies are shooting at you. So I got unlucky there. He teleported right on me, but I was able to escape. And here we go. I take him out right here. Toss a grenade, and I used every last bit of ammo. I kind of panicked here and just shot Forbearance, which didn't do anything, but I was able to get the finish. Just enough heavy ammo to take out every Overload, which was great. I would say if you can't kill the Overloads, if you don't have enough ammo or whatever it might be, go ahead and bring in a hand cannon, which is actually what I'm going to do on Hunter. So Forbearance is just kind of a luxury to bring in to take out a lot of adds at one time, but hand cannons are fine. You have Overload hand cannon to stun whenever you need to, so if you want to hang back and do that, that's fine. But yeah, get the Thunder Crash off here. If you wanted to bring in Curse of the Falling Star to do more damage, that's fine, because I really didn't use point contact cannon brace that much, so you could get more damage off that super. But what we want to do here, the strategy here, is just to hang back on the opposite side of wherever he is at. So about every 25% HP, he's going to rotate counterclockwise. And so we're going to have 2 barrier champions that spawn in along with a bunch of waves of enemies. But thankfully they kind of hang where he is at all times. So they'll come out of the rooms on the sides of where he is, but they'll eventually make their way over to him. So the barrier champion is most important. And again, I don't know why I'm not stunning the barrier champion and taking out the snipers. I'm making life way too difficult for myself. No idea where that guy came from, but you can see he is moving over to the boss. So I'm going to speed up this part here. Made some dumb decisions. You should not hang out behind this post when there are all those enemies nearby. I was getting kind of frustrated. Was worried that this was taking too long. And it ended up taking longer because I just got too greedy. But what we want to do here is take out any enemies that we can that are not shielded, of course, which is difficult to do because almost everything is shielded. But I kind of got to a point here where I could stun this champion, which is helpful. So I'm going to kind of plink away, get him down, and then clear out the surrounding enemies once this champion is dead. And that should make things a lot easier. That Shank just jumped off the edge. Not sure what he's doing, but here I'm going to go ahead and go above him, looking down, which will help kind of avoid the solar damage. There's one just hero Vandal trying to be the hero here. But yeah, here we go. Going to take him out right before he rotates, and we can hide behind here. And there we go. So the boss has now rotated. Time to take out what enemies we can. There is no champion here, thankfully, so we can take out everything as we see it. Wishender just hanging back right behind this wall. And again, we're going to kind of slowly do some damage here. I'll probably speed up this part as well. And here I'm just kind of looking for heavy ammo, seeing if any drop that I might have missed to help me take out some ads a little bit quicker, because we are at 11 minutes. This is definitely not a speed run here. But we haven't died, and that's all that matters. This is for the solo flawless. And you'll see here I just get frustrated with dealing with people shooting at me every second. There's really no good angle. So I am going to go ahead and super right here. Just get it over with, take him out. Thankfully took out all the enemies nearby, and the boss will not come down to this level. He's always going to stay up there, at least from what I've seen. I've never seen him drop down here. And get away, use that speed booster. Super easy, and then we can take him out from across the way. Now we are going to have one more wave of enemies that spawn in, and this is the most dangerous wave. I think if you don't have it under control, it's very dangerous, because we've got exploder shanks that will find their way to you, and they're going to one-shot you, even just one of them. So you want to make sure you take them out very quickly. And there they are. I was not ready. You should be all the way where I'm at now, right when they spawn in, just in case. But yeah, they're going to come from both sides, and if you have machine gun ammo left, it does make it very easy to take them out with that. But there we go. Took them out. Once the lights come on, sometimes you'll still have enemies left, so make sure not to run over there. You want to safely make it this way, and yeah, we're good. Let's move on to Hunter. So with Hunter, we are going to be moving over to Strand. We're going to go Thread Runner instead of Arc. It's a lot easier. I tried it with Arc, I just was not having a good time. And we're also going to switch over to a hand cannon instead of the forbearance. So this is showing you don't need forbearance. Hand cannon is going to make it easier to deal with the overload champions, especially because we don't have a pulse grenade that we can just throw at them and stun them. So makes it a little bit easier, but we're going to be swinging all around in this build. I like to immediately throw a dart that way, set the tangle loose, and these actually do quite a bit of damage, and they're so much fun. So easily take out this overload champion. And if you're skipping ahead, if you haven't watched the first two, we take out that overload because right away the barrier champion is going to spawn in, and he will actually shield that overload champion, which makes it just a nightmare to deal with. This room takes 3 times as long as it should. So if that happens, just start over. Keep retrying until you can get it. But yeah, everything is going to be unraveled here, so it takes extra damage. You got those strand projectiles that just do tons of damage here. Easily take out the barrier champion. Wishender is going to be the hero of this build, or of this Lost Sector, really. We're going to be using this 90% of the time. Hanging back, for the most part, safe. Sometimes we do have to put ourselves in dangerous situations, but we try and avoid that as much as possible. So we got a few enemies that spawn in this room. In this next room, we are most concerned with the overload champion that is down below, which is in like the worst possible placement, and you got a bunch of enemies shooting at you at the same time. We don't want him to retreat to the next room. Sometimes it happens. If it does, it might be worth a restart, because barrier champions will spawn in later and they're going to try and shield him, but luckily he did not retreat back fast here, so we were able to take him out pretty easily. In this next room here, we do have to drop down for the enemies to spawn in, and we'll easily just take them out. And on Hunter, I'm going to go ahead and go right back up to this area, and we can hang here most of the time. We want to be taking out the snipers and enemies as much as possible after we stun the barrier champion, because when a barrier champion is stunned, they can't shield, or the servitors can't shield. So we can take out these vandals easily and keep working on this barrier. In this room, we've got 2 barrier champions that spawn in. Only one at a time, thankfully. So once one of them is dead, we kind of clear out the whole wave of enemies, and then the other one will spawn in. Kind of boring, just sitting back here and watching Wishender shots, but it is safe. And then you'll see me kind of dodge randomly here. That is because, and I just totally missed that. But yeah, every time I dodge, we get a little decoy, and the enemies do like to shoot that decoy. And when the decoy explodes, you get threadlings that spawn in and try and track enemies. And obviously we're going to shoot those tangles as often as possible because we have the whirling maelstrom aspect, and you can just see damage numbers everywhere. It's so fun. You're just hanging back, and those will take out enemies, and they even makes its way over to the barrier champion, which is awesome. But putting my decoy out there, second barrier has spawned in now, along with a lot of other enemies. I try and prioritize the sniper vandals as much as possible, as long as I can get a shot on them, because they seem to ruin your day as much as possible. You want to make sure, it might seem like it's safe in this area to drop down and hang behind those walls, but you've got enemies to your left here, see in that left area up there, and they will kind of make their way over to you and kill you if you don't get them first. So I like to hang back up in that safe spot for as long as possible. And with this, you also will get your, with the Certarachnes facade, the exotic helmet. Hopefully you have one. If not, just run Legend. You don't need to run Master yet. Like, you want to make sure you have a good build going into Master. This is not designed for just anyone to walk into. But Certarachnes will give you Woven Mail every time you use your grapple. And so you'll see me a couple times just kind of grapple the wall if I'm ever in danger. Woven Mail, if you didn't know, is a 60% damage reduction. It lasts 10 seconds. It's amazing and very helpful in here. And so anytime I see these tangles again, I'm just going to throw them, shoot them, do whatever. There are 2 overloads in this area. I like to take them both out if possible. One of them is always going to retreat, but this one will always stay in here. So this one's very easy to kind of hang back and get. We don't want to take too long on that other overload champion because he will retreat all the way back into the room, and we don't want to deal with 3 overload champions at the same time because that is nightmare material there. We're going to move ahead. Again, anytime I use or get a kill with my dart, a new tangle will spawn in as long as my tangle is off cooldown. So it just makes everything a lot easier. I forgot about the 3 enemies that spawn in from that room right there. Missed my grapple again because I was in a slow field. But I did get another tangle. And let's see. Yes, he is still there. Overload takes 3 shots to stun with this hand cannon. So nice and easy. You just always want to make sure that your weapons are reloaded as often as possible, especially your hand cannon, because if you need to swap back to it, you don't want to be out of ammo because that overload champion will respawn all the way, or revive all the way. Here, another overload champion. We want to take him out quickly while he's here, because if we don't, he's going to retreat back to where there is yet another overload champion waiting underneath the stairs. And even 2 overload champions, dealing with those is incredibly annoying. So we can just take him out easily right here. Should have reloaded right there, but I do have Envious Assassin on my machine gun, so anytime I get kills with another weapon, it's going to reload, over-reload that machine gun in the background, which is nice. And here, I always like to take out the surrounding enemies before dealing with the overload, because there's so much activity in this room that it is kind of nice to not be getting shot at by 10 million enemies. We want to clear everything out as best as we can. Unless we get a safe opportunity, then we can start working on them. And this final wave before the boss is always going to spawn in a shank back there, along with some tracer shanks that will try to snipe you, but nothing for the whirling maelstrom tangles. It's just ridiculous. It's so powerful. I love this build so much. And then, yeah, once the lights turn red, we have the boss. You can go ahead and pop your super here. I could have popped it earlier if I wanted to, but I like to just kind of wait just in case. Sometimes popping your super in master and higher level content is more dangerous because you get yourself in right in the middle of a bunch of enemies, and then you'll die, which you don't want that to happen. But that is a pretty safe spot to pop your super. And about every 25% HP that we shave off this boss, he's going to rotate counterclockwise to each corner. So we want to always be on the opposite side of the boss, and we will get a few ad waves that spawn in, but thankfully when they spawn in, they usually just go directly toward him. So we don't need to worry about too much about them shooting us because their priority is to just kind of protect him. And this barrier champion, what I should have been doing here is clearing out the enemies as I stun the barrier champion. I've said that a few times in this video. Just rewatching the footage, you realize what you do wrong after the fact. But if you take out those enemies while the champion is stunned, it makes it much easier to kill the champion. So finally we were able to get the kill, and we'll let that tangle do its thing. We're about to get him to rotate again. There he goes. And you just want to make sure that every time he does rotate, you're taking a look around the room, just to make sure that all enemies are where they're supposed to be, that there's no stragglers behind. In my Titan video, a Nightmare Shank just walked right by me. That's not supposed to happen. I guess he didn't walk, he floated. But here we are on the opposite side, slowly taking out this guy's health. This is a very long lost sector. Really, all of the moon lost sectors are annoyingly long. And so if you do this on Legend, this is going to take you much less time. It'll probably take you half the time because there are much less champions. Ads don't have as much health, and neither does the boss, so this is way easier. You don't have to run to safety every 5 seconds. But yeah, we are at almost 10 minutes and still don't have the kill. But again, this is about as safe as we can get here, with the Wish Ender just kind of hanging back. So I decided to speed up this section because you'll get to witness some real life scenarios with dealing with champions. Sometimes you can't win them all. I whiff a dart here in a second. The shield just completely regenerates. This is bad. I will say I had been playing for quite a long time at this point, experimenting with a lot of different builds, so my gameplay was not top notch. I'm also not the best player in the world, so hopefully this will help you if you don't feel like you're a super strong guardian. You can do it. It just takes a little bit of planning, going in with the right build, and again, Legend is much easier than this. Yeah, we are almost done here. Do a little bit of damage to the boss, and now I think this is when I finally go for that barrier champion and actually get the kill on my 19th attempt. But yeah, we'll go ahead and grapple over there. I say this in a lot of the other classes, or in both other classes as well. The boss will never come down here, so you're safe to take out this barrier as long as there are no other surrounding enemies nearby. This is an easy kill once we're good here. And I know I have a super here. The reason why I'm not using it is because this final wave of enemies is very dangerous. It tries to bait you into saying, oh no, you're safe, just boss is almost dead. But no, we have a lot of Exploder Shanks that spawn in, and thankfully no champions, but those Exploder Shanks you want to take out with your machine gun because it just makes it a lot easier. If you have machine gun ammo, that is. But yeah, they're going to just bull rush you from both sides, and they will come into this room that I'm in now. So just always be looking out for, or listening for the beeping noise that they make right before they explode. They're going to one-shot you because this is solar threat. So I have double solar resist on, and I think that one would, it still just straight up kills you. So you want to be careful there. But yeah, we are coming to the end here. And I think I end up just kind of popping my super to stay safe, I guess, while I get the chest. But yeah. There we go. As long as both those barrier champions are dead, that's all we care about. And that is this Lost Sector, K1 Communion. Done. All 3 classes. Let me know if you want to see more. And that is it for this one. I will see you all in the Discord or the next video.